You finally did it. You hit send on that email, you posted your art, you published the video, you confessed your feelings. You put your idea, your heart, out into the world. And you were met with silence. No comments, no calls, no likes. Just nothing. That crushing feeling that follows. That's the fear nobody ever talks about. And today, we're going to figure out how to break its power over you for good. There are few things as quietly brutal as being ignored. It's not some loud, dramatic rejection. There's no fight, no argument, no clear no. It's a void. And our brains are wired to project the absolute worst-case scenarios into that void. They hated it. I'm a fraud. I'm invisible. I'm not worthy of a response. Sound familiar? This isn't just you being dramatic. It's a deeply human response. Neuroscience research shows that the sting of social rejection activates some of the same brain regions that process the emotional component of physical pain, like the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex and the anterior insula. That ache in your chest, that punch to the gut feeling, it's real. Your brain is signaling a major threat. Evolutionarily, this makes total sense. For our ancestors, being cast out from the tribe was basically a death sentence. So, we are hardwired to be incredibly sensitive to any sign that we might not belong. I remember this feeling with painful clarity. A few years ago, I had this idea for a creative project I was obsessed with. It felt like the most me thing I had ever come up with. I spent months pouring my soul into it, convinced this was the one. I finally got up the courage to send it to a handful of people whose opinions I deeply respected, mentors, peers, people I really admired. And then, nothing. For a week, I was a maniac, refreshing my inbox every 5 minutes. I even checked my sent folder to make sure the emails actually went through. They had. The silence wasn't a glitch. It was a choice. And it was deafening. It felt so much louder than criticism. Criticism, at least, would have been engagement. It would have meant my work was worthy of a response. But silence. That felt like being erased. The story I told myself was absolutely brutal. It wasn't just that the project was bad. It was that I was delusional, forever thinking it was good. That I was embarrassing. That I wasn't a real creator, just someone playing dress-up, and the silence was everyone politely looking away. That one experience kept me from making anything new for almost a year. The fear wasn't just of a no, it was the fear of a void so profound it made me question if I even existed. It's the fear of being forgotten, ignored, and abandoned. A fear so common it has an informal name: athazagoraphobia. And this fear shrinks our lives, quietly convincing us that the safest move is to never put ourselves out there at all. So, how do you pull yourself out of that spiral? For me, the turning point didn't come in a flash of lightning. It was a slow, painful process of figuring out what was really going on. I started to see that the problem wasn't the silence. The problem was the story I told myself about the silence. The fear of rejection is sneaky. It rarely just shows up and introduces itself. Instead, it masquerades as other things. It can look like obsessive people-pleasing, saying yes when you mean no because you can't stand the thought of disappointing someone. It can look like perfectionism, the fantasy that if you can just be flawless, you'll be immune to criticism. And it definitely looks like avoidance, not applying for the dream job, not asking that person out, not speaking up, Because if you never try, you can never really fail. For a lot of us, this is rooted in our earliest experiences. If we grew up with caregivers who were emotionally inconsistent, we might have internalized the message that our needs are a burden or that we're fundamentally unlovable. So, every rejection in our adult lives can feel like a confirmation of that deep, old wound. And in our world today, this fear is on steroids. Social media has created a culture of instant validation. We post and we wait. We measure our worth in likes and shares, creating this constant, low-grade hum of anxiety. When that immediate response doesn't come, the silence feels 1,000 times louder. But here is the insight that changes everything. Rejection, and the silence that comes with it, is not a verdict on your worth. It's just data. That's it. It's information. The person who didn't call you back for a second date, that's data telling you they aren't the right fit for you. The job that sent a form rejection email, data telling you that opportunity wasn't aligned for you right now. The people who didn't respond to your project, that's data about their priorities, their capacity, or their own stuff. It is almost never the personal attack we think it is. Rejection isn't a stop sign, it's a GPS rerouting you. The pain is real, but the meaning we give it is a choice. And that, right there, is where your power is. So, how do we get this from our heads into our bones? It's not about becoming fearless, it's about learning to act despite the fear. It's about building a foundation of self-worth so solid that a little external silence can't knock you over. Here are 3 ways to start. First, separate rejection from your identity. You are not your successes, and you are not your failures. When you face silence, your inner critic will immediately try to make it about who you are. I'm not good enough. I'm unlovable. Your job is to fight back. Actively reframe the story. Instead of, they rejected me, try, that opportunity wasn't a match. Instead of, I'm not talented enough, try, this piece didn't connect with that person right now. It's not just playing with words, it's a profound shift from seeing a flaw in your identity to seeing a simple misalignment of circumstances. Rejection is about fit and timing, not your value. Second, build your inner anchor with self-compassion. The less you need applause from the outside, the less rejection will sting. This means becoming the source of approval you've been looking for from others. How? Practice self-compassion. When you're met with silence, instead of letting that inner critic run wild, talk to yourself the way you'd talk to a friend. You'd never tell your friend they're worthless because someone didn't text them back. You'd say, "That hurts. I'm so sorry." Their silence doesn't change how amazing you are. So, speak to yourself that way. Create a rejection ritual to honor your own gutsiness. Maybe you buy yourself flowers or go for a walk. The act itself matters less than the intention, to acknowledge that you were brave enough to try and that courage deserves to be celebrated, no matter the outcome. Third, face your fear intentionally and gradually. Avoidance is fuel for fear. The only way to shrink this fear is to prove to yourself over and over that you can survive it. This is a powerful technique, often called exposure. Make a fear ladder. List small actions that trigger your fear, from least scary to most. Maybe the bottom rung is asking a stranger for the time. A little higher up might be pitching a small idea at work. Even higher might be asking a friend for a big favor. Start small. Go out with the goal of collecting a no. Ask for a 10% discount on your coffee. Ask a salesperson a question you think is silly. The point isn't to get a yes. The point is to get rejected and realize you're still okay. You don't crumble. Every time you face this fear and survive, you are literally rewiring your brain. You're proving to the oldest part of your mind that social rejection in the modern world isn't the death sentence it was for our ancestors. Look, this isn't a one-and-done fix. It's a continuous practice of choosing courage over comfort. A full life isn't a life without rejection. It's a life where you see rejection for what it is, a sign that you're in the arena, that you're trying, that you're living bravely. The silence doesn't define you. The story you tell yourself about it does. The real enemy isn't the person who doesn't call back or the world that doesn't immediately applaud. The real enemy is the voice inside that uses that silence to convince you to stay small, stay hidden, and stay quiet. Don't let it win. So here's my challenge to you. In the comments below, share one small, brave step you'll take this week to face this fear. It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe it's sending that text, sharing that drawing, or just speaking up. Let's make this a community of people who choose courage together. And if you're ready to keep building that courage, make sure you subscribe. Your worth is not up for debate. Go out there and act like it.